That is a terrible, terrible idea.
That's when Natasha's combat instincts kicked in. She dove into the front seat just in time to dodge a shot, then grabbed Steve and helped him avoid another one, and even kicked Sam out of the way to avoid a third. Steve yanked the emergency brake to send Bucky flying, but of course, the Winter Soldier stopped himself, using the most Winter Soldier way possible, by dragging his metal arm through the pavement. The Winter Soldier used the impact to backflip onto the roof again, and grabbed the steering wheel straight out of Falcon's hands. Under constant assault, Cap and his team had no choice but to jump out of the car. The Winter Soldier grabbed a grenade launcher from one of his men and fired, sending the strongest of the trio flying. Then he and his squad moved in slowly. Falcon didn't have the gear to handle that kind of firepower. Bucky then launched another grenade at Natasha, forcing her off the overpass. But Natasha spotted his position using a reflection from the sunlight and hit him with a surprise attack. His visor was bulletproof, but Bucky was pissed. Watching her try to escape, he decided to take her down personally and told the others to go find Captain America. Meanwhile, Cap and Falcon were still fending off Hydra agents, and Bucky, he was stalking Natasha like a lion hunting prey, calm, calculated, and deadly. Seriously, take a long look at this version of the Winter Soldier, because once he's redeemed, we'll never see this level of menace again. Following the sound of her voice, Bucky casually tossed a grenade, but it was a trap. Natasha appeared from the other side, trying to choke him out. But Bucky barely flinched. He blocked it effortlessly and flung her away. The difference in strength was just too much. All she could do was use a small electronic chip to short out his systems and buy some time. Natasha ran while guiding civilians to safety, but still, Bucky landed a clean shot and took her down. With Cap arriving on the scene, we moved into Phase 3, 2 super soldiers going head-to-head. Bucky rapidly switched between 3 different weapons, but Cap blocked them all. That's when he realized something. Bullets weren't going to break that stupid, indestructible shield, so he pulled out a knife for some close-quarters combat. And what followed is, in my opinion, one of the coolest fight sequences in the entire MCU. Cap's blocks, Bucky's knife flips. The choreography was just on another level. Then, in a quick scuffle, Bucky's mask came loose, and that's when Steve finally saw his face and recognized the brother he thought he'd lost decades ago.
Bucky? Who the hell is Bucky?
Just then, Falcon came flying in with a solid kick that knocked the Winter Soldier off balance, and right after that, Natasha fired a grenade round straight at him. In the chaos of the explosion, the Winter Soldier vanished once again. Later, in the basement of a Hydra facility, engineers worked to repair Bucky's damaged arm. But when Steve's voice echoed in his head, calling him Bucky, it triggered fragments of memories he had long forgotten. For the first time, the Winter Soldier started acting unstable. Pierce personally came to investigate, but something was off. Bucky didn't respond like he used to. Even after Pierce laid out a whole load of brainwashing propaganda, Bucky gave him just one response.
But I knew him.
That wasn't gonna fly. So what did they do? Back to the chair, another round of electroshock. Because that's what Hydra did to Bucky Barnes, every time he tried to remember who he was. One day later, Steve and Sam infiltrated the 3 helicarriers, trying to shut down Project Insight before it was too late. Meanwhile, the few S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who hadn't been compromised by Hydra tried to help, but the Winter Soldier took them all out, by himself. On the tarmac, every Quinjet was destroyed. Bucky hijacked the last remaining one and flew it straight to the 3rd helicarrier. The first 2 had already been secured, one by Cap, one by Falcon. Now everything came down to the 3rd.
Steve!
Bucky grabbed Sam mid-flight, yanked his wings, and yeeted him sky-high. Falcon tried to switch to dual pistols and fire back, but not a single shot landed. As he tried to fly off, Bucky casually shot a grappling hook, reeled him back in, and showed him what top predator in the bird-catching business really looks like. Yeah, let's just say Falcon wasn't flying anywhere for a while, but thankfully Cap managed to hold his ground. What followed was arguably the most brutal fight of his life.
Please don't make me do this.
Realizing Bucky couldn't be reasoned with, Steve made the first move. In the scuffle, he took a shot to the waist. They clashed across the control console, punches, counters, blades flying. In a brutal moment, Bucky slammed Cap off the platform. As the key chip fell toward the lower deck, Bucky reached for it, only to have Steve grab him by the neck and hoist him up in a chokehold. With a powerful arm lock, he dislocated Bucky's shoulder, but Bucky still wouldn't let go. So Steve had no choice. He locked in a rear naked choke and finally knocked Bucky out cold. Cap grabbed the chip and sprinted for the control terminal. But just then, Bucky snaps out of his brief blackout and opens fire on him. Multiple shots hit Steve in the stomach, but even with blood soaking through his suit, Cap forced himself to stand and jammed the chip into the console. The helicarriers turned their guns on each other and began to self-destruct. As debris came crashing down, a steel beam pinned Bucky under the wreckage. Despite being shot and exhausted, Steve didn't hesitate. He used every last ounce of strength to pull his friend free.
You know me. Your name is James Buchanan Barnes. Shut up! I'm not gonna fight you. You're my friend.
Steve refused to fight anymore.
You're my mission. You're my mission! Then finish it. Because I'm with you to the end of the line.
I'm with you to the end of the line, pal.
Flashes of memory came flooding back and they hurt. As the platform collapsed, the support column shattered the glass beneath them. Steve fell into the river below. He pulled Steve out of the water and saved his life. He still didn't know who this man really was, but something deep inside told him this man mattered. Before Steve woke up, Bucky vanished. He didn't go back to Hydra. He didn't go to anyone. He chose to disappear. Wandering alone, Bucky eventually found himself at the Captain America Memorial exhibit. There, he saw his name, his face, his story. He learned about the man he used to be, and about the bond he once shared with Steve. But even then, his memories wouldn't come back.